Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about a mom and dad. They're in Delaware who lost their son 13 years ago to an overdose, and they started this not-for-profit, and they've been helping a lot of people since then. They're actually stepping down, but I wanted to highlight these amazing parents, and I'll put a link in the description of the video so you can read the article. But there's also a link to their not-for-profit in the article if you'd want to help. But I really wanted to just throw a little bit of light on these folks. Maybe we can help them because they're trying to do good work. So it says here, a couple's loss of their son to an overdose turned grief into action more than 13 years ago. Don and Jean Keister never expected to become leaders in Delaware's response to the opioid crisis, but after their son Tyler died in December 2012, the Newark couple made a decision that would shape the next decade of their lives. By early 2013, they had launched Attack Addiction, a nonprofit organization aimed at closing gaps in treatment, reducing stigma, and saving lives. Wow. Amazing. One of the organization's earliest priorities was creating stable housing for people in recovery. We felt that we needed some place for folks in recovery to go and live so they could live in a drug-free situation where they could recover. So important. I mean, and I've talked about this before, right? That a typical journey of recovery, because recovery is not is a journey. It's not necessarily a destination. You don't get there and be like, oh, I'm done, I'm good. No. Once you are in recovery, you got to always work to be able to maintain recovery. I mean, it's like anything, right? If you wanted to stay in shape, you have to keep going to the gym. You don't want your teeth to fall out. You keep brushing your teeth. I mean, I know I'm simplifying things, but you get the drift that I'm trying to talk about here. But a part of the recovery process is recovery. The recovery residence or the sober living, and that typically comes in sort of the second half of the recovery journey. That it's so important to be in a supportive environment, right? Where you're living in a community where everybody is working on their recovery, as opposed to going back to the individuals, the quotes friends, who not only did not support your recovery, but frankly encourage you to relapse. We got to get those people out of your life because they don't help. They don't, right? They just make things bad again. And it says there, over time, Attack Addiction moved from renting properties to owning them. At its peak, the organization owned 5 recovery homes across Delaware. I guess they also worked on some legislation. They passed the naloxone bill in Delaware, a medication that reverses opioid overdoses. We're about the 17th state to have naloxone available to individuals. It has made a difference, he said. It's something that reverses opioids and something that has saved a lot of lives. Yep, big time, right? Having naloxone or Narcan, right, which is basically the antidote to an overdose, available is huge. I mean, law enforcement carry it. I know EMTs here in Florida carry it. But if you're a civilian, you can carry it too, especially if you have somebody in the family that has overdosed in the past, right? Fantastic. Just great stuff. This was important stuff. Not a character flaw. It's medical. Over 13 years of leading Attack Addiction, Keister said one of the most important lessons he learned was changing how we viewed addiction itself. One thing I've learned that it's not a character flaw. It's a medical issue that has to be dealt with, and it's one of the things that causes people not wanting to talk about it. They don't want their family to know. They don't want anyone to know. Yeah, so important here, right? I mean, in one of the conversations that we used to have, not so much anymore, especially when parents would call us, was the whole idea of, well, it's a conscious decision, and why don't they just stop? And my response to that was, well, if they could, wouldn't they? Nobody wants to live, this crazy, life where they're just not functioning properly, where they're in and out of treatment, perhaps they're getting arrested, all that stuff. It's a disease, and like any disease, it needs to be treated. Now, if your loved one can't make the decision to go to treatment or at least stay in treatment long enough in a clinically appropriate facility, somebody has to make that decision for them. You want the state doing it? I really don't think so. My experience with the state, and any state, is that they do a lousy job of taking care of people, either through the criminal system or the mental health system. And trust me, the state will be happy to do either one of those for you, and you won't like the results. So if we don't want the state doing it, then who else is going to do it? Well, it's got to be the family. Somebody in the family has to make that commitment. And I know that's a big ask. But if not the family, then who? They're not bad people. They need help and they need medical attention of some kind. And so many just don't realize it. Yeah, really, really important. So it looks like the Keister families decided they've had enough. They're moving on, and somebody else is taking over the attack addiction. So look, I'll put a link to the article in the description of this video. If you want to help attack, there's a link there, and you can go and help. Mike, listen, I know I'm in Florida and this is in Delaware, but I mean, helping people is helping people, right? I mean, most of our families are not in Florida anyway. Their loved ones are here, or we're getting them here. But if they're helping people, then we should help them too. So anyway, I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any comments or questions, or you want me to make a video for you about an issue you're seeing in your family, post it in the comments. I read all of them, typically within 24 hours. If you like this content, please give me a thumbs up. If you want more of this content, because I'm putting it out not just every day, but normally twice daily, then so please subscribe to the channel. I'm very grateful for everybody that has, and we want to help as many people as we can and get the information out there. It's important you get what you need so you can decide, hey, do I want to talk to these guys? In any event, thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.